quite the abrupt end there. Okay. Hello. Welcome to our Hard Knocks after show, Hard Knocks reaction stream that we do after Hard Knocks every single week. I think there would be one left, right? Or is there two left?
One.
Two?
One.
This is number 4?
This is 4.
We at least got next week. Maybe one left. Must be one left. So obviously preseason is done with this Hard Knocks episode. And then all the cuts happened today. All the cuts had to be done by today. And we will see those next week. We obviously know the news. So spoiler alert coming ahead, I guess, if you don't want to see that. But as always, whether you watched Hard Knocks or not, we're here to talk about the episode. So if you want this to see if you need to watch it, want to watch it, whatever, cool. If you have thoughts on Hard Knocks and want to come and share them with us, like some Bills fans have done, you can do that as well in the comments. If you are not fans of our Bills analysis, let me tell you, that probably makes sense if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, but I do not sugarcoat any of my analysis on the Buffalo Bills. And so far, a 100% track record of being correct. So that is fine. Maybe we'll read a fun comment just because, as Luke is seeing a Bills fan knocking at his door because of our analysis. But yeah,
Did you hear that?
No, what was going on?
I live kind of by the airport. Loud plane. Everything's falling right now. Okay, I'm good.
Interesting. I thought it was Bills Mafia coming just to throw beer cans at your window because we don't bow down to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm going to say one other thing that might be controversial in Bills fans territory.
Okay.
Jumping through the tables was kind of cool like 6 years ago, and now it's like maybe the worst thing that fans do in sports.
I don't know if it's the worst thing, but like that can't be the whole only thing. Like you can't always only jump through tables. That has to be like the accent on that. You got to build up to it. That can't be the only thing.
Right.
It's not fun then.
It's cool like when you're the first one to do it, but when you become like the 6
True.
millionth to do it, it's just what are you doing?
That's true. It's just it can't be the whole thing. Like you gotta party a different way, and then once everybody gets to that level, then somebody goes through a table. It can't be the starter, the middle act, and the main act at the end as well. Like it just doesn't work that way. So is what it is. But let's talk about Hard Knocks. So we've seen 2 preseason games going into the third preseason game this week. We wanted to see more fire out of the Buffalo Bills. We said in previous shows that they seem too comfortable. Yeah, get that Boston album up. You can't let that thing touch the ground.
Sorry.
That's terrible. And Life of Pablo. 2 of my favorites right there, both on the ground. I hate that. But we needed to see some fire out of the Buffalo Bills. The entire time has just been kumbaya, very comfortable, zero sense of urgency. And for everything that I will be critical about with the Buffalo Bills and this episode, and we've been critical of in the past, I think we finally saw some fire this episode.
Yeah, we did.
Which is a welcome sight. Could I have done with more? Absolutely. However, I'd like to see players actually get punished for doing things wrong. I like to see actual practice footage, which we haven't really seen much to this date, to this episode so far. So I'd like to see Josh Allen get mad at people, which it wasn't much. It was very, very little. But still, I like to see him not just be like, oh, it's okay, and baby everybody, or try to be everybody's best friend. I like to see McDermott raise his voice, which very rarely happens.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be the authoritarian drill sergeant coach, but when you do, you need to raise your voice sometimes. And he finally did that. So I'm happy about that. But then there's a lot of filler in this episode to the point that I wrote down how much time they spent looking and showing and talking and then showing and then talking again and then looking at it and then moving venues and then talking and then looking and then showing a little more about Josh Allen's mechanics.
Yeah, I have a take with this. Keep going if you.
No, just that was 6 minutes. That was over 10% of the episode.
You're talking about the guy coming in and with like 8 trillion, like $400,000 cameras that are just placed in a
Yep.
circle. My take on it is, yeah, it's great to figure out your mechanics, but what happens to your mechanics when Chris Jones comes unblocked right at your
Yeah, if you're
face?
doing these things wrong in practice, and by the way, I thought Josh Allen fixed his mechanics with this guy 4 or 5 years ago. And now he's
Yeah.
still doing things wrong in practice in on air, not a drill, not anything on air. To your point, once you get put under that little bit of pressure, guess what? All the mechanics go out the window, and you do what's most comfortable. And what's most comfortable is that Josh Allen reverts to the reckless gunslinger, which I like to watch, but doesn't
Hmm.
win games.
Which, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's good at it, but like if we're making a whole segment on, hey, this is what you need to do. Like this is how, and this can work in your golf game too, and yada yada yada. It's a little bit different when the Baltimore Ravens are staring you down, when Chris Jones is staring you
Yeah.
down, when you're trying to make a playoff push. Now, I think the Bills get a little bit of a kind of an easier road, right? They don't play in the toughest division, so maybe it's a little bit easier to kind of focus
Mm-hmm.
on that. But I think I'm not going to say that's where playoff struggles come from, but I think focusing too much on mechanics instead of focusing on going to win a Super Bowl, it might be an issue to not being able to win a Super Bowl.
Maybe. And I think there's no doubt that, and I assume it's the same guy that Josh has been working with for years. If it's not, it's the same exact thing. He credits, like you said in the episode, he credits his life, all of his success to this guy, essentially. I think there's no doubt that he made Josh Allen a better football player. However, I think it's too much. At some point, you got to do what's just most natural to you. We saw Philip Rivers, again, another quarterback who never won a Super Bowl, I guess. Philip Rivers has some of the worst mechanics of all time. And it does not
Hmm.
matter. And I don't need to hear this nerd who has a bunch of cameras, and I don't want to know what he does with his
Yeah.
cameras in his spare time. Um, Talking about how freaky and impressive Josh Allen is that he fixed something in 2 reps. Because let me tell you this, he's been working with him for 5 years, so no, he did not. Like
Right.
this takes people
Um,
months to do what you just did in 2 reps. That's not true.
it's
You
not.
didn't fix anything.
It's not. It's right. It takes. Yeah. Like Lombardi would have hung this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Vrabel
Yeah.
would hang this guy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Belichick would have
Yeah.
hung him. Like it's to your point. It's just nerds coming in and ruining the fun of
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And this guy is, I assume he's on the Bills staff, is what it certainly seems like. Is not, I think it started with just Josh visiting with him in the offseason and repairing stuff. And then now he's on the Bills staff as something. And because he's taken time to review Mike White's throwing motions and do all of this and talk about it in a quarterback meeting. This is a waste of time. Do you think Josh Allen gives 2 fucks about Mitch Trubisky's fundamentals and motion and all of that? And does that help anybody?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I'd argue it doesn't really even help Mitch. So not
Right.
only was my time wasted and your time wasted, Josh Allen's time was wasted in that 6 minutes. Like
Hmm.
everybody's. It was such a boring thing that I'm happy I get to talk about now. I'd like to talk about it for at least 6 minutes because that's how much time I had to sit through it. We haven't even done that yet. It seems like we've talked it to exhaustion.
Yeah. I don't. Or I was gonna say. I think we've exhausted everything about it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I'd love to. Like, I just want to talk one thing about the quarterbacks here. Like, just to go along with the
yeah,
quarterbacks. The storyline, they even mentioned in this episode, we've been talking about it, the whole time, is the storyline of this team is the backup, right? Is the battle for the backup quarterback
yeah.
position. There's nothing about Mitch Trubisky or Mike White in this episode.
No, not at all. Not at all. Just that Mitch maybe was working on something in the offseason and that guy thinks that's good. It's his pelvis. Cool.
Right.
Just tell me what that means. Apparently it's good enough for Mitch to make the team in a position that he essentially had won since the beginning.
Like he might have had the QB2 position in a better spot than Josh Allen has the QB1 position.
Basically, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but basically, like Mike White had no shot. He had no shot to
Right.
usurp Trubisky here. Um, like because Trubisky body wise is Josh Allen. They play so much alike. He's more experienced. He knows the offense. Like he had no shot to make this team. And they were building this up as if it's something because guess what? This entire Hard Knocks doesn't have any spark. It doesn't have any magic.
Nothing.
It doesn't have controversy. It doesn't really have anything. I was watching it the entire time, probably minute 4 of that 6-minute mechanic section, just figuring out why does this Hard Knocks suck so bad.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how I think it's certainly in the contract that there's only a certain amount of actual football they can show because of the competitive advantage thing. They don't want to give it up for an actual contender. I think that's true. But I think part of the excitement of Hard Knocks as well in the past is like we're figuring out, is this team actually going to put it together and win games? Could this team actually be good? We're watching their preparation of a team that was bad because they always had to miss the playoffs. This team's not good. They're trying to find their way. And it's like an actual story of overcoming adversity. And there's no adversity in this. There's no growing. There's no urgency. There's no question of if this team's going to win games. They're going to win double-digit regular season games and then lose in their first or second playoff game to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like we've talked about, we know what's going to happen. So, like,
there's no
plot. There's no spark. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing to really look into other than, like, I think it says something that the most fun I had in this episode was 2 things. 1, the spelling bee. That was kind of fun. And 2,
right.
I like that tight end getting to punt. I think that's interesting. I like Charlo too. I like his story, to be honest. The Army guy.
Yeah.
But so it's all real football stuff, except like there's at least fun. Like the practice didn't show anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining. I'm not sure.
No, I don't disagree with you. The segment that might be up there with the worst of all time with what's his name juggling and David Blau watching his wife win a silver medal or
Yeah.
whatever it was is what's the tight end riding a
Yeah, I was
bike.
thinking the same thing. Like, cool, brother. Like, you got so much air in that
Yeah.
one. That was awesome. Yeah, that was bad.
Right.
But it was totally like, that's why I was wondering while watching if they were going to do that quick turnaround and show the cuts in this episode as well. Because very clearly they're introducing new people just so we can show them either get cut or barely make the team. And we'll give you the spoiler alert on all of those battles in a little bit. But that's why they finally introduced Frank Gore Jr., which they should have been talking about before, because that's at least interesting. They introduced this tight end out of nowhere, and because he had to punt. Like the Army guy, like, is he going to make the roster? We'll see. Like, they just kept introducing people, so they had a plot, they had something, they had a segment, I guess. Next time
they had a mini plot, basically.
And Vince Carter and T-Max back. What are we doing? I don't understand what's going on.
How did they get involved with the Bills? Because first of all, those are like 2 of my favorite people that have ever
Love them.
existed. They could have not made them any more boring than they made them in this
Mhm.
episode. I kind of liked Tracy McGrady saying to Sean McDermott, "No, the coach has to like kind of be the fire," and McDermott's like, "Oh, maybe I do actually have to raise my voice a little
Yeah,
bit." Um, and a Tim Duncan reference is always great in
true.
anything. But yeah, I mean, Vince Carter and Trace McGitter are probably the 2 people I would associate least with the city of Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't get it. I was wondering, like, Toronto's not far, right?
But even if it was Toronto, like those guys didn't spend much time in
No,
Toronto.
yeah, and it was forever ago. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think, I mean, we saw them earlier this season in that ownership thing, so I think they're invested. They must be. But
Yeah,
again, why? I don't
right,
know. But is that the most interesting thing about the Buffalo Bills? I don't know.
right,
And there's probably somebody more, like, I like these 2. There's probably somebody more interesting than these 2 that are invested in the Buffalo Bills as well.
right.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking of like, right when you get those, you get the celebrity cameos in Hard Knocks, right? Like we got Eminem on the field at practice in Detroit.
Yeah.
We're getting Vince Carter and Trace McGrady sitting down with Sean
Yeah.
McDermott.
And in an ownership meeting with other, like, yeah, they're not showing the personality, having like very scripted, weird conversations. And at least to me, if you ever bring up Scottie Pippen in a conversation that's not about like Michael Jordan directly, it's so boring to me. I hate Scottie
Yeah,
Pippen with everything.
you got to know Scotty was loving that
Oh, for
though. Like
sure.
when he was watching
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah,
Yeah. Scotty loved it. Scotty loves this Hard Knocks now. And he might be the
yeah.
only person other than the Bills fans in our comments. Um, I mean, what else really happened this episode that we want to talk about other than the actual cuts?
Shadow Sanders got kicked out of the game. That kind of felt unnecessary to show that, but whatever.
Right. I
Um,
do like the army kid, Charlo. I like him. I like the
yeah, I think he's fine.
I like the stories where it is, well, one, just, rags to riches type of thing. Like, you're working your ass off. But like, I like the fact that he's just a football player and we're highlighting that to the point that he's playing completely out of position. And I like that they got him mic'd up in the game, just asking to fucking go.
Not knowing,
Like, I think
right?
that's cool. Like, I think that shows people what preseason actually is. So maybe the next time you're like, oh my God, how did this guy miss a tackle? How did this guy not know where to go? Why is this so sloppy? Charlo's out there playing a position he's never played and not knowing where to go. And he's asking teammates who
Right,
also don't know what they're doing. They're also just trying to make the team. And why would they even tell him the right thing? Because they're battling with him for that exact
right.
spot. So I do like that. I think it shows a little, that's the most inside look to a football team that we've gotten so far, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like the real life idea of like when you think of football players, right? You think guys go out there and make millions of dollars, or the 1% of the 1%. They know everything what's going on
Mhm.
always. It's probably right. I mean, Zach, you've been around coaching, been around playing and everything. The guys half the time don't know what the fuck's going on. Like it just go out there and make a play. Not knowing where to line up and everything. You're right. It shows like the human side, the learning side of a guy who even said it right. He came in, into camp way behind. It's a shitty circumstance for him, but came in, hard work and trying to do it all. But when you're on the field, you have to make plays. So that human side of what the fuck do I do? All right, I'm here. Let's just go make a play then.
Right. Yeah. To McDermott or whoever said, or I think it was Brandon Bean said it, like he's just a football player. You put football players on the field and ultimately they're just going to
Yeah.
find the ball. They're going to make the play. If we're relating it to the Packers, who we're fans of, like that's Bo Melton right now. Like he's just a football
Hmm.
player. Put him on the field, and he'll probably make the right play at some point. But every team needs to have those type of people. I do think the Buffalo Bills have several of those players. If I am to credit them for just about anything, like Josh Allen. Do I think Josh Allen's an outstanding
Right.
quarterback? No, but I think he's an outstanding football player. Like he,
Yeah.
when the play breaks down, he throws his head through a guy and he makes a play. Um, and again, for better or worse, usually for better. Josh Allen's one of those guys. I think Ty Johnson's one of those guys. Um, Khalil Shakir, I think, might be one of those guys. But yeah,
Yeah, I think even like Deion Dawkins just goes and mauls people. Just a football player.
Deion Dawkins is great. Love to see a Panic at the Disco karaoke session there.
Yeah, agreed.
That was good. We need, again, just show the trenches, show these guys. We haven't even really seen the D line much other than Ed Oliver on a horse. Um, just show the conversations between
I we're
these two rooms, and it'll make Hard Knocks interesting. It's the easiest cheat code to show these guys.
agreed. We're not like 9 days away from the NFL season starting. I would bet that like 90% of people don't know that Joey Bosa is on the Bills right
True.
now.
I don't think we've seen him on camera.
No.
It's so interesting. And I mean, I can't imagine he played any preseason snaps, right? But I think he's healthy. I mean, it shows he's healthy. He's not injured. So yeah, he's active. Yeah, I don't think we've seen him whatsoever. Interesting. And he made the team officially. Good for him. This Buffalo Bills team, the amount of new people on the squad is alarmingly low. And I think one of the I mean, that just kind of goes to the point of Hard Knocks of they didn't have very many position battles, so that wasn't super interesting. We got Bills people in our comments talking about how they're super good because they brought everybody back. I mean, you're doing the same thing. You repeat history. Don't learn from history. You're doomed to repeat it. Can you guess how many non-rookie new offensive players they have on their team?
I mean, the only one that immediately jumps off my head is Josh Palmer.
And the only other one is another receiver, probably the final receiver to make the team.
Laviska Shenault.
No,
No, I'm kidding.
No, it didn't make it, unfortunately. Elijah Moore. Defensively, they only have 3. And one is someone who came back in Trey White.
Tre'Davious White.
Joey Bosa, we just mentioned, is one. We haven't seen him whatsoever. And then Shaq Thompson.
Oh, another guy. I bet 90% of people didn't know that he's there.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the exact same Buffalo Bills team.
Like, I'll say the same thing that I've been saying the last, month that we've been doing this, is I think, the NFL picked a good team here, or Hard Knocks, or whoever, makes the decision. They picked a good, in theory, this should be a great, team to follow. It's a team that's trying to get over the hump that, they've been so close for, 4, 5, 6 years now. They were dog shit before that, lose 4 Super Bowls. In theory, it's a good idea. In practice, no personalities, no really fun other than Josh Allen, and just not showing that they are trying to get over the hump. So I think, there's still one episode left, but again, how much can you really show without, real football being played? To me, this is not one of the better Hard Knocks of the, since we've been doing this, since I've been watching it. This has not been very fun for me to watch. It's football, so football is great. Anything football is great, but to me, this has kind of been like 4 episodes of let's talk about football without actually talking about football or showing football.
This Hard Knocks to me rivals the only one that rivals this Buffalo Bills one, I think, is that split Los Angeles one.
Yeah, and that was a weird one. Here's a good if you need to put a thing in there to kind of deter something, to just say COVID. Like, that was a COVID thing.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. But yeah, that one felt very, very odd, very weird. And this one, it's just not fun. I don't know. They need Antonio Brown to come in and get frostbite again. They need someone to do something stupid. I don't know. I guess what they need is a what's his name? Naheem Hines a couple years ago broke his leg on a jet ski.
You're right.
I don't think it was during training camp, but we need something to spice it up because next episode is only going to be the cuts. That's it. I can't imagine there's anything else. I think they're going to have to. And they'll probably build up one more person who ultimately makes the team.
Yeah.
I don't know who that person's going to be unless it's, I think Buffalo Joe was pretty safe. So I don't think it's going to be him. He's on the team. Spoiler alert. Like, I don't even know who was borderline other than maybe, I don't know who Tyrell Shavers is. He's a receiver who made the team.
He had that one-handed catch in preseason.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, we've talked about a lot of, or Hard Knocks and us have talked about a lot of players here that are fighting for a roster spot. And we are going to let you know right now who made it. So if you don't want the spoiler alert for next week, click away or give your predictions. But first up, let's start with Zach Davidson, who I thought was a fun addition to the episode because that punt was actually insane. That was a great punt.
Well, yeah, before you bring in this too, you could tell too, like after Shiloh Sanders got kicked out, he was talking a little bit of shit. There's some personality. This is the guy they should have brought in episode 1 and built this all the way up.
Show tight ends. That's another one. Yeah. Show the trenches, show tight ends. These are the personality guys. Do that, please. But yeah, didn't need to see him riding a bike. Don't care. Not fun. Pretty lame, actually. Unfortunately, even though he had a 61-yard punt in preseason, filling in for the punter, Zach Davidson was cut today. So he did not make the team. Next, we got Jimmy Charlo. He made that special teams play a couple of weeks ago, earned more snaps, was really a showcase game for him here, was playing a position he's never played before, was lost out there, not really on him whatsoever. Um, it just goes back to like you hear your favorite team, a player switching spots, and then they don't make the team. Spoiler alert, he didn't make the team, but they don't make the team, and you're like, oh my God, we're trying to put him wherever, a different position. He still couldn't make the team. Again, look at this. Charlo had no idea of his assignment out there because he's played a completely different position. It goes back to Josh Jackson in Green Bay. Every single season, uh, flipping positions. We had Demarius Randall
Demarius
do something
Randall.
like or Oren Burks, stuff like that. That's just Packers examples. Isaiah Simmons, obviously. But you can apply it to your own team. Jimmy Charlo ended up not making the team. He had a missed tackle in the game that they showed. He recovered a fumble. So he had a bad moment, had good moment. Overall, proved to be a pretty damn good football player. So I imagine he's going to get picked up for sure
I,
by
I was gonna
somebody.
I was gonna say it feels like he's the guy, and he was with the Jets last year, got cut, and now he's with the Bills. Kind of feels like he might be a guy that bounces around until he can, until he finds his, everyone finds a spot somewhere, right? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I bet there has to be a spot out there for him.
Yeah, and I think he feels too small to play linebacker. So if he
Yeah,
can learn that nickel role, maybe that's where he thrives a little bit. But yeah, I think he's at the very least a practice squad guy, and maybe a team like Carolina or the Saints or some team that needs defensive help. Maybe he comes in and makes some plays. He certainly is a special teams guy as well. So that
unbelievable that. Sorry, just because you brought up the Saints, that Spencer Rattler is going to be starting Week 1 for the Saints, but
it's
never.
insane.
That's for a different show, but crazy.
And I don't think I think Jake Hayner's bad. And Shuck, I don't really know, but obviously he hasn't impressed yet. Pretty insane that they were that sick of Jake Hayner to fully cut him and then
Right.
make Spencer Rattler the guy. When Rattler's bad, he is not good either. I don't know what they're going to do, but why wouldn't they bring in Snoop Huntley? Or
Yeah,
why wouldn't they have traded for or get Jameis back?
you're right.
Like they got three quarterbacks over. Do something like that.
They should
But
have went to
yeah,
like Daniel Jones.
yes. Yeah. I mean, they are fully just already planning their vacation right now. And then this is a very good quarterback draft coming up. The Saints will draft their next quarterback.
I was gonna
Like
say
that's
too,
a lock.
as yeah, as kind of I know it sucks for Saints because they're kind of in purgatory, right, with the whole Derek Carr contract situation. They didn't really have much money to spend. I mean, if you're
Mhm.
gonna go into a rebuild, starting Spencer Rattler Week 1 is the full on way to go into a rebuild.
Over under mm, over under 3.5 different people take snaps for the Saints this year.
um, I think 3 for sure when Taysom Hill comes back.
Right. Right.
I'd say over. I bet someone signs there, or say the Saints go on a little bit of a run. No, they're not going to go on a run. But you know, like I don't necessarily know that it's out of the cards of like Alvin Kamara to take a snap in a wildcat position, or I don't know,
Yeah.
tip
I should have said
tip
drill
the
passes. You're right. They're
yeah.
going to take snaps, but yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
but for the spirit of the game, I think that we see at least 4 quarterbacks play for them this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Saints are wild. Sean Payton ruined that franchise
Hmm.
completely. It's incredible. Okay, so Charlo didn't make the team. Zach Davidson didn't make the team. Frank Gore Jr., I think by all accounts, has had a pretty darn good preseason. He continues to just be a good north and south runner, finds a hole, hits the hole. Very much similar to his dad in that way. I was very surprised he spelled that word correctly.
Agreed.
He seems like a sharp kid. Not didn't seem like Frank Gore's son. Frank Gore would have had no idea, and I love
Yeah,
that for him.
Frank Gore would have spelled FOOTBALL.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Frank Gore only knows one word in this football. I love Frank Gore, one of my favorite players of all time. Frank Gore Jr. I think a very solid running back in terms of running the football. Had absolutely no shot to make this Bills team, and he was cut. They had 3 running backs locked in
Hmm.
already. So it was like, could he be the 4th running back? There's almost no shot. So stinks for him. KJ Hamler's the other one. He's been the one that's been showcased in multiple episodes. Was showcased for the Scooter, was showcased in the Improv, was showcased in the Health Scare, going back to Denver this week. So really building up KJ Hamler as that big decision, big scene that we will see next week. I'm sure he's the one we all care about that they're building up. And ultimately, KJ Hamler once again is on the streets, did not make the team. He's one that definitely I think deserves to be on a game day roster. He just makes plays. I really liked him when he was with Denver. I
Agreed.
guess I don't know like if he's lost a step or not after all those injuries, but I think he's a good player and he's a great locker room guy. Obviously, we've seen
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, you brought up that Buffalo kind of has these guys who are just football players that go out. Like KJ Hamler's that guy.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Maybe he's probably too small for special teams, so it kind of limits him a little bit. I might be wrong. Might be completely talking out of my ass there. That feels correct to me though. Um,
I mean,
but
if
yeah,
he's
I think he can contribute as a pass catcher though for multiple teams.
yeah, if he's if he does have a little bit of burst left in him as a Packer fan, I wouldn't mind him, catching punts this year.
I wouldn't mind that at all. If I'm the Saints, I want him as a receiver. If
Yeah,
I'm the Seahawks, I don't mind him as a depth guy there. There's several teams. The
San
Vikings, I
Fran.
would if I'm the Vikings, kill him. He might be starting week 1.
Right.
Yeah, San Fran as well. Those injuries. Yeah, several teams need pass catchers right now, and I expect him to hear his name called. Was there anybody else that we've even seen? Buffalo Joe, I guess. I feel like he was already a lock to make the team. He did make the team.
Yeah. I mean, as
Um,
far as anyone in the bubble, no. I mean, like obviously, like there's Ed Olivers and Josh Allen's of the world, but people in the bubble, no. I mean, to your point, I wonder if it's going to be, a 5-minute storyline of like 3 guys next week.
yeah, it feels that way. Also, I guess the Bills decided to keep 2 quarterbacks, which isn't a surprise. So that does mean Mike White was cut. So maybe
Yeah,
they'll
that
talk about
sucks.
that.
I feel like Bu- Shane Bouchelet, um,
Mhm.
he probably finds his way back to the practice squad.
Yeah, him or Mike White, one of them. I think they're both very fine. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you can dress an emergency third quarterback if you wanted to. I think they have to be.
Mike
Yeah,
White
I don't
might
think they don't
he
count
might
against the 53.
no Mike White might take snaps for the Saints this year.
Honestly, both of those guys might as well. Like, there's several
Yeah.
quarterbacks that have been cut that the Saints could use. Why not? It does not matter.
Do you think just talking about quarterbacks getting cut? Do you think that Tyler Huntley like got to Cleveland and immediately knew that there's no chance for me here? Like, what am I even doing?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a waste of time.
like they literally just needed him to play a fourth quarter in a preseason.
It's similar to Ben DiNucci. He was at Atlanta for a half a second.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty pathetic, honestly. Looking at other quarterbacks, just because we might as well. Looking at other quarterbacks who've been cut. I'm going down the list, just trying to find guys that are notable. Desmond Ritter was cut. He feels
Oh,
like a saint.
yeah.
Tyler Huntley,
Don Clifford.
uh, probably Clifford. Yeah, I haven't got there yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Trevor Simeon was cut.
Still hanging
Bailey
around there.
Zappi, he's interesting.
He can sling it.
Oh, Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, there's a Saint for you.
Yeah. Will Greer, Tommy DeVito, Dorian Thompson Robinson, one of the worst football players I've ever seen. Kyle McCord was cut. I don't mind Kyle McCord.
Sneaky was like incredible in college football last year.
Yeah. I guess I haven't really been keeping track of him in the preseason at all. But if I'm the Saints, why
What
not pick
about
him up and just see if you have something in him?
what about our guy Graham Mertz?
Did he get cut?
I don't know.
Where am I at? I'm not there yet. So maybe he's been as advertised, according to Zach Bruner, over the past few years, who's been taking it on the shins. I love Graham Mertz. I think he's a starting NFL quarterback. That's me. Hendon Hooker was cut. Sean
Yeah.
Clifford was cut. Clifford and Elgersma were both cut for the Packers. Easton Stick, Jake Haener, Kyle Trask, Clayton Tune, Tanner Mordecai, shout out Wisconsin. Looks
Yeah.
like Graham Mertz made the roster.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player for Houston.
What about Quinn Ewers? Do we get there?
Made the roster.
Nice.
He must be the number 2. Let me see.
They don't have Skyler. No, Zach Wilson, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Wilson and Ewers both made the team. Probably needed because
What a
go through all
weird,
3.
what a weird quarterback room.
Very weird. That's an odd group of people.
Yeah.
Then you got Darren Waller in that locker room as well. Yeah, very interesting, I would say.
Tua is right. He's kind of like the religious, quiet guy. Zach Wilson is like probably going out and just banging every MILF in Miami, and then Quinn
Yeah.
Ewers just like wants to go fishing.
Right. Yeah, 100%. One name at backup quarterback, Saints can't get him, but I don't know why I didn't hear that he was back on a team. Teddy Bridgewater is backing up Baker Mayfield. Did you know that?
I thought didn't Ted Rivers just get like arrested?
He got in trouble with his high school football team because he
yeah,
bought them something.
yeah.
Like he got them Ubers or something.
You get him rides or something. Yeah.
But he can't get in trouble because he wasn't technically on the coaching staff.
Okay.
So it would have been an issue if he was on the coaching staff, I guess. But he
Yeah, I
wasn't.
guess if he was, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Good for Teddy backing up Baker, and I've been saying it. You might have a chance to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's a fun quarterback room. That's
Yeah.
something we had the FlurrySports podcast yesterday. We were going to talk about, I think, next week potentially ranking quarterback rooms minus like the starter. That's a fun quarterback room with the starter at least. Baker and Teddy Bridgewater would be a lot of fun stories. Very different human beings, I think, but it's an interesting one.
You know, it's got to be a horrible one that might be 32 on you guys' list there. If you're ranking them without the starter, is the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room without Aaron Rodgers.
There will be some home cooking bias in that because Jake was notably shared a beer and knew Skylar Thompson at K-State. And then Will Howard, another K-State alum. So Jake, that'll be number 1 for Jake.
Never mind. I thought Mason Rudolph was still there. Went back there?
He is there. They kept 4.
Okay, so Mason Rudolph might be the least
hate him.
Person that I ever want to talk to in my life.
Agreed. Yeah, I may go Myles Garrett on him. Who knows? I hate Mason Rudolph.
Agreed.
Cannot stand him. Manning, what's up? Fantasy question. I assume James Conner or Marvin Harrison Jr. And I suppose just in a vacuum, who you want on your fantasy team. And I mean, so hard to answer that with different positions.
I'll give an answer here.
Sure.
I think short-term James Conner, long-term Marvin Harrison. Do we expect James Conner to play a whole season? Probably not. Do we expect Marvin Harrison to play a full season? Probably. And to be honest, their points probably average out to pretty close to each other.
Right. Yeah. I think individually I'd probably want Marv. But if you're asking, can I have Trey Benson and James Conner or Marvin Harrison Jr., then I probably would take the backfield. Like I'd be willing to reach a little bit on Trey Benson just to lock that down. Because I know the Cardinals offensive line is physical as shit and they're going to run the football well, I think. Especially in division against some very good pass defenses, some guys who really fly around like in Seattle and stuff like that. I think you can run the ball against some of these defenses in the NFC West. And I think James Conner is going to be great when he's healthy. And I think Trey Benson is more than capable of filling in when he is not. So,
yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's going to open up so many rushing lanes too, if he runs.
Yeah. Agreed. Kyler Murray's a weird one just because his rushing is so unpredictable. But yes, as well. Um, yeah, I don't know what else we even really have
I
to
have
talk
I have
about.
something to say about Hard Knocks that you kind of brought up there a little bit about Sean,
Sure.
about him kind of getting pissed off in practice, and they fuck up and go run.
Yeah.
That kind of brought back traumatic nightmares for me, is fucking up and having to run on the football field. Like in summer, that
Yeah.
was horrible, man. I get it. I fully, support coaches doing it to players, but as a player, that sucks.
Is there any notable like fuck ups or
Yeah,
times you had to run?
I have a funny story.
Okay.
So I had a good buddy of mine. It was freshman football, and he was, I don't know, he's a big guy. He must have been playing guard at the time or whatever. And I think he pulled when he wasn't supposed to. Just stupid freshman mistake learning football or whatever.
Yeah.
And we must have had a bad practice. Just coach was bitching at us the whole time. So my buddy sets him off over the edge, pulled, like, the pullers ran into each other or something like that. And coach goes, "Go run to the farthest thing you can find." So he just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and it was like, towards the second half of practice, the kind of the later part where you just got to get through like another half hour. Everyone's all dead tired already and everything. And so he did, the big guy that you look like you're jogging, but actually kind of fast walking kind of thing. And he just
hell
took
yeah.
his time. He took his time, and I think he just went like probably 200 yards down and came back.
Of course. Yeah, that's fair. One thing we always did with the freshmen, so when you are a freshman or whatever, you always start practice with like special teams and stuff like that.
Sure.
Freshmen go and catch the kick.
Hmm.
So you have to stand for us. It was like below a hill. It's practice field, and then there's a hill. So when there's a kick, you got to catch it. If you don't catch it, all the freshmen run. So
Yeah.
it became a very interesting, like strategizing who can catch, who can not catch, where do you stand, where is it most likely going to go, and even if it does not go through, you better catch that damn football because
Yeah.
we don't let the football hit the turf here. And yeah, it was. Turns out the offensive linemen have some of the best hands. These receivers stink.
Honestly, yeah. I have one more story that doesn't really have to do with that, but it's kind of funny. So
Sure.
when
What's up? Definitely spelled correctly in the chat.
you w- when you were playing football in high school, did you ever have
Mhm.
to go and, like, you get the cards, right, that have like all the discounts on them around town, and you go sell them to
Oh,
for make money for the booster club?
yeah,
So my senior year, we had a kid who was not very good at football. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was, whatever, just a high school kid.
sure.
um, did not sell one card, right? And that was like the coach thing. Like, we have to be involved in the community. We got to give back to the people that are, paying for all this stuff, yada yada. Um, Very first day of practice when everything was supposed to be sold, he goes, drop the kid dropped a pass. He goes, he goes, you catch balls like you sell cards. You can't.
That just becomes his identity for the rest of
Right.
football then at that point, or sports at that point, I'm sure. That
Yeah.
stinks. Those are always the worst. You have to like go and sell to people.
Horrible.
I mean, I'm from Elk Mound, a town at that point of under 800 people. It's like
Right.
I know you've already talked to 8 other people on the football team, but you have
Yeah.
another $20 that you would like to give me for a book that you will not use.
Correct. Yeah, right. You're just giving $20 to the football team.
Yeah, yeah, please do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to bug you the entire time. Yeah. Do you remember those? I assume not football or sports related, but you would have those little things you have to sell. And then like there's this whole like school wide thing. You sell a bunch of things and then you can earn prizes for the amount of like money
Hmm.
you sold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those for whatever reason, like just getting those bullshit little prizes was some of the coolest shit of all time.
Agreed,
I
man.
was so amped. I feel like, truthfully, that was one of the ways that really sparked like owning a business, like entrepreneur, like shit. Because I'm like, okay, how do we figure this out? If we
Right.
pool our money and we find these certain people, we can all chip in. And guys, I'm serious. We could get a remote control car that doesn't work. Wouldn't that be sick?
Right.
It
Right.
looks so big in this magazine,
It,
and
it
it turns out
is
it's just life size.
right. It is kind of interesting, and I think that kind of brings together like a not like a philosophical look at like what kids are when they're young or whatever, But not knowing you're like, you don't know anything, right? When you're a kid, you just trying to figure shit out. Like, let's just try to
Mhm.
figure shit out for the stupidest fucking thing ever. But you just, you put all your work into it, and it pays off. And I think that probably, that probably helps a lot, later in life when you're working a job and shit and everything. But just thinking back on that, like, yeah, like, why the fuck did I ever do that? And you're like, oh, I guess, the payoff was
I'm just think
horrible, but I guess it was fun.
I'm just thinking of like my parents and the other parents just like I was like legitimately upset. Like we could use these things, just spend money on it. We're gonna buy them anyways, and then I could get this really terrible prize. And
Right.
it's like sell $1,000 and you get something that's not even worth $10. I'm sure my parents were pissed off. Like
Oh
this
yeah,
kid's an
big time.
idiot. Like why are we even entertaining this loser's thoughts right now? But yeah,
Yeah.
we should bring those back if they don't have those anymore. Because it was like a full like assembly like in the gym when they introduced it to
Yeah.
us.
I vaguely remember it, but I know what you're talking about.
There, whenever it was like a school wide assembly, I'm about it. Because there was like
Yeah.
some like people coming in to rap about not doing drugs. Loved that. That was
Yeah.
a great time for me. Um,
Middle school, we had go-kart races. That was fun.
Go kart races sounds fun. We would do for like winter carnival stuff that we would do different uh competitions like between the grades. So like tug of war stuff was good.
Yeah.
Basketball tournaments were fun. A lot of good stuff there. Yes, all school wide assemblies. It's a good. We did a like a mock trial or yeah mock trial or like a debate in front of the entire school. That was good.
Nice. Do you
I
remember
can't imagine watching it.
when
What?
flash mobs were a thing?
Yeah, yeah.
There, when I was in middle school, like someone set it up. There's like, 15, 20 kids just broke out in a flash mob in the middle of lunch. And within seconds, the whole lunchroom was booing. That was a memory that I have. That was great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Basically, Elk Mountain's a weird place, and because well, I mean for many reasons, but we basically had a flash mob from sophomore year through senior year every single day at lunchtime at our school because our dance team slowly turned into just a Hmong boys dance team. Every single day, they would dance in the middle of the lunchroom every single day.
Hell yeah.
Every single day. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's really upsetting. And then eventually there was like some drama that happened with our dance team and they couldn't have funding. And then all of a sudden we trotted out an all Hmong dance team without a coach. So they're just
Yeah,
doing their own shit out there. It was
that's actually kind of
kind of
sick.
epic.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was
that's
very,
fun.
very weird. But
Oh,
hey,
I
it's
remember
cool.
what I wanted to say. It was a
Sure.
very quick in this Hard Knocks to tie back to Hard Knocks here. It was a
Perfect.
very quick glance, but it had like it was like must be a sign in the practice facility or something. It was big Bill's logo, and under it said heart. Okay, I don't know if you
Okay.
remember what I'm talking about.
No, but okay.
Anyways, now I'm gonna get away from Hard Knocks and go back to school. A thing that was
Okay.
happened at school that was funny. Um, we had in our art department, there was like a hallway or whatever, and it said art department, right? On the door walking by. And
Sure.
someone put it, I think it was Sharpie put an F in front of it, and I laughed so fucking hard. I still laugh whenever I think about it.
It's so dumb. It's so
It's
mature. It's so
it's
funny though.
so good.
Very good. And maybe
Like how did I not think of that?
I know exactly. It was right there. It was
You're
staring right
right.
in front of me. Yeah,
Right.
100%. Maybe we'll Photoshop that for the Bills thumbnail here. Uh, but Bills fart. We'll see. Next week, we will be here yet again talking about Hard Knocks and talking about things that we already know, most likely, because it'll just be cuts. And I'm sure they'll show somebody making the team who knows. Definitely join us, hang out, and like Manning did here, and other people, come ask fantasy questions. We're just here to talk ball on Tuesday nights. And just so you know, during the NFL season, on Thursday nights, we will be doing our fantasy football show, the main one. We'll probably have other shows during the week as well, but Thursday nights are the main show that you want to tune in for. So come hang out, ask fantasy questions, start, sit, trade questions, all of that. If there's enough interest for a specific trade show where we just answer your questions about trades, probably after the first month of the season or so, let us know and we will do that as well. But we'll probably do an ad drop show, for sure do a start sit show, And if there's interest for anything else, videos, shows, whatever, let us know, and we'll do that for you. We want this to be
I
one of
was
the best fantasy seasons of all time. We want you to win your championship, so we're here to help you.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing too. I was gonna run this idea by you, but we're live here. You know, a little insight into how the sausage is made here. But um, for like for my Survivor articles, I might think about just doing a live stream and just talking about the process of thinking out for Survivor for the week. Whether it's 15, 20, 30 minutes, just sitting and talking, figuring it out.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that works. For those who don't know, Survivor, if you haven't done a NFL Survivor pick, so you pick one team every single week, and you just need that team to win. But after you choose that team, you cannot choose them again. So Luke, what he typically does, has his lock, and then he has a value one if you want to be a little bit more risky or high risk, high reward. And then a value one is probably like the gimme, right? If you want to burn the Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins right away or whenever they play, sure. But you don't get the Buffalo Bills again. So he has 3 different categories, but the lock is probably the one you want to go with.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea. Come hang out with him, talk ball, hear his process, and chime in your thoughts as well. It'll be a collaborative approach to it. That would probably be Wednesdays.
Wednesday, probably.
We'll figure it out. Definitely tune
Yeah.
in for that. But yeah, comment other shows, articles, whatever you want to see. And if you are a big fantasy football fan, we also have another fantasy football YouTube channel where a lot of clips will go up. That is Fantasy Football by Committee. So definitely go there. Starting tomorrow, we got building a championship team around a specific player. On this channel, you'll see Jamar Chase. On the other channel, you'll see picks 2 through 12, including Bijan Robinson, number 2, already recorded. So definitely go subscribe over there. Lots of good fantasy content this season. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for Lombardi Sweep, a Green Bay Packers show. See you
Get
then.
our thoughts on their cuts.
Yeah, true. Goodbye.